Always Listening Podcast 101 continues with how do I start my podcast first recordings on this episode. Welcome to Always Listening. I am your host, Joel Sharpton, CEO of Pro Podcasting Services, and I am always listening. Podcasting 101 continues, and we are talking about your first recordings today. How do I start my podcast? The first thing that I want to tell you or remind you, if you're not a brand new podcaster, is that all of the directories support trailers for your podcast. And especially with Apple, there might be a delay from when you submit your show to when it's first available for listeners as a whole to access it. So to launch a show specifically, you're going to want to take advantage of that trailer by posting some audio into the feed, into the directory, submitting that show, then waiting. Once you're accepted into all the directories, then you can post your first episode on whatever date you're ready and tell your listeners to expect new episodes on your schedule. That approval process only happens the first time when you submit your first episode to all the directories, Apple Podcasts and Spotify being the primary ones. What I suggest for clients is to take their intro and outro, basically put them together, maybe add a little paragraph in between of their own narration explaining what the show is going to be about. That's your trailer. It's just that simple. You can create that audio, and you don't even need to create the video for YouTube if you don't want to, but I'd post it there as well to get things started, be able to send the links out to people and say, this is where you can find the show moving forward. This is where you can find my video content. But for your first episode itself, personally, I like a regular episode of the show. If you've got a big name friend or colleague that would be valuable as a guest, this is the time to call in the favor and put them first. Highlight them for your launch episode. And once the conversation has gone so well, they'll want to share it with their audience too, probably. Many clients ask about a biographical style episode for episode 1. Should I have something where I explain who I am and what my credentials are and why I wanted to do this show? You absolutely can. It doesn't have to be the first thing out of the gate though for you. Particularly if you're nervous about this recording process, having your first couple of recordings be with guests might help take the edge off. Then for your 10th or your 25th or your 52nd for an anniversary style episode, you might do a biographical episode. Go back, tell a little bit more about you. But the key is that your experience and expertise should shine through in every single episode, through your questions, through your commentary on your guests' answers, and through the overall style of guests that you bring on. The key thing to know for you as a first-time podcaster is everybody's got a certain amount of bad audio and video in them. The only way to get it out is to literally get it out. You're never going to get to your best video until you've posted your first video. You're never going to have that classic podcast episode that all your friends and colleagues are talking about until you've recorded your first one. So don't let the nerves override you. Don't stay stuck at go, and get ready for your first podcast recording. On the next episode of Always Listening, we're going to be talking about your podcasting launch, as well as how to market your show over time to grow your listener base. Until then, I'm Joel Sharpton, and I am always listening.
Yeah, I know I ain't seen it all, but I've seen enough. Yeah, I know I ain't seen it all, but I've seen enough.
For help on your podcast, visit propodcastingservices.com. Our theme song is Enough from Bethany Rayburn.